Here it goes. Yeah. Let him hear you, folks. Let him hear you. Come join us as we take you on a trip from the practice pen to the show arena and let you listen in as top trainers prepare their students to compete in the Western industry's most exciting equine sport. And you'll learn what it takes to become a top weekend cutter.
Just relax, Robert.
Very good, Chase. Keep pushing on that horn, bud.
Outside leg just a little. There you go. Stay up. Back up. Stay up. There you go. Good. Don't lean. There you go.
People from all walks of life can find a place in our sport.
Hi, I am Kathy Reiser-Foote. My husband Jonathan and I have insured with Roger Peters Livestock for over 30 years. Our most recent issue was I was showing our mare. We were sitting fourth in the world and she tore a suspensory. Our insurance coverage is the reason we were able to continue on with Lola. And I so appreciate Roger Peters Livestock Insurance.
I'm Dr. Glenn Blodgett from the Four Sixes Ranch here in Guthrie, Texas, and I highly recommend Alfalfa Cubes from Manzanola, Colorado. The thing I can tell you about this Top of the Rockies cube is it's the most consistent form of alfalfa I've ever been able to purchase. We feed this in the pasture on the ground some, we feed it in the lots. It really does meet all the nutritional needs. I couldn't recommend any hay source any higher than I can this Top of the Rockies cube.
Hey folks, welcome to the show this week. I'm really excited to let you kind of check in on one of our colleagues over on Farm and Ranch TV is Trey Young. Trey Young has a show called Trey Young, American Horseman. Now I'm always looking for turn back help at my house. And Trey Young happened to be in Texas this week and he got to come by my house while I was working some horses. He got to work some horses. We got to see some of Trey Young's special touch. So this episode's about Trey Young out at my place helping work some cattle. This whole episode's brought to you by Roger Peters LivestockINS.com. Be sure and get a hold of Connie Peters. She has a plan to help you and your horses. Now let's go see Trey Young. Well, folks, here we are at my place, the Circle E in Cleburne, Texas, and generally I'm out here working horses by myself, but we've got a gentleman that's coming on to Farm and Ranch TV that we wanted to take an opportunity and introduce you to, Trey Young. Trey, thank you for coming by.
Thanks for letting me come
Man,
by, man.
it's got to be quite a commute. You know, we're in Cleburne, Texas, just south of Fort Worth, and you come all the way from Florida to come ride with me today.
I make this journey quite often, and I've made it for a number of years, and it's not quite as bad as some think it is once you've done it as many times as that, for sure.
Well, you spent a lot of time in Texas, so you've still got a lot of places.
You bet.
You've been out some other places this week.
I love Texas.
Yeah.
I love Texas.
Well, it gives you, this time of year, coming from Florida, it gives you a reason to wear a jacket.
Yeah. I don't know, it's been pretty cold in Florida lately, but not for long. It's only been cold one time this year, really.
Well, you're kind of up in northern Florida anyway. We've spent a lot of time down in Seville and Lady Lake.
There's quite a bit of cutting down there.
Ocala, yes, Plant City down at the bottom. You know, the corns put on some cuttings down there. So we did the Weekend Cutting Horse Association. We had our Eastern Regionals that we held there at Ocala back last September at Florida Horse Park, which was a great event. You know, it was just, there was a lot of people there from Georgia and the Carolinas, Tennessee, Louisiana, but maybe 80% of them were Floridians.
Yes, sir.
That really were great folks having a good time cutting up, and it was the first cutting that's ever been held there at Florida Horse Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got to put on the first
It's really
one.
big and nice, eh?
Yeah, it's
I
got
haven't
that
seen it.
big brand new covered arena, and you know, I'm not sure, don't hold me to this, but I think it's about an 80-acre facility,
Really?
and it's right, one side's right off the highway, and it's just surrounded by like 1,200 horse farms there in Marion County.
You bet.
So just a virtual plethora of horse people in that part of the country. People don't realize it, but in our industry, cutting, you know, where we're so dependent on cattle too.
You bet.
Florida
There's a
is
lot.
the #1 cattle producing state in the United States.
Yes, sir.
And you know, some huge ranches. That Mormon ranch down there is one of the bigger ranches ever in the United States. And
They have a lot of cows there, that's for sure. It's more per acre than here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we've had you know, naturally the King Ranch, you know, and the Wagner Ranch, which just sold. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did see that actually.
But you know, that Mormon ranch in Florida is just huge, and a lot of cattle come out of there and go to the Kansas feedlots, you know, and feed this country. And we've had the pleasure of working a lot of those cattle, you know, that type of cattle in your part of the country. Got a lot of ear to
like
them.
those cattle are abundant there, but like we don't have any roping steers there. You know what I mean? Like they just had the NTR finals, and a buddy of mine told me that all the cattle for the NTR finals, they brought 390 head to Jacksonville from here.
From
Austin
Texas.
Robertson brought them from right down the road, actually. So it's a different breed of cattle. It's a different kind of cow, but I sure wish they had some roping steers there for a little cheaper. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, I don't think them roping steers are going to get any cheaper.
No.
I mean, they're kind of holding the same price as these stalker cattle are right
Yeah,
now.
I talked to a guy yesterday. He said he paid $1,250 a round for the ones he had at his
For
house.
steers.
Steers.
And that was that getting them shipped all the way out there. I've got a friend of mine down in the Okeechobee area named Wayland Overstreet. The Overstreets have got a big ranch down there, and they probably sell 2 or 3, maybe 4 loads of yearling calves off their ranch every year. I've done a lot of work with Kelly Durrance down in Zolfo Springs and placed a lot of cattle for him in Texas, and well, from Mississippi all the way across Texas and Oklahoma. So I've got some good ties to Florida. I love going down there, and we've, you know, all my camera guys, they've all taken turns and gone down there with me, and
It's a different place, that's for sure.
it is, but it's great. I love it. You know, 6 months out of the year, the weather's
6 months though, it's a hot summer.
in
down.
6 months it is hot.
It is
Boy,
very hot.
howdy. And the humidity, you can cut it with a knife.
Oh, I know all about it.
Now, tell me a little bit about Trey Young, the American Horseman. You've got this show that's coming on. You've coming on Farm and Ranch TV. Tell me a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
Man, I tell you, I want to cover a basis of a big basis of this horsemanship. Whether it be for, you know, your cutter or your roper or just your trail person, you know. And I want people to understand that if your horse is broke, you can do whatever you want with him. And the more broke he is, the easier it's going to be. And to each and every individual, a broke horse is different. My broke horse and your broke horse may be 2 different things.
Yep.
He's only as broke as you want him to be, or you think he should be. So, I mean, Mr. Ed talked one time, so, I mean, how much can I get this horse to do? The learning process for him is never ending. Finished horses are tuned on a daily basis, well, per se finished horses, but they are tuned on a daily basis, and this training stuff, it never stops. It's never, ever gonna stop. I don't care who you are or what you're riding, it's not gonna stop.
Well, we as humans, we never stop learning.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's the same thing.
And I have 2 little boys now. I have one that's 3 and one that's 5, and I tell you that it is, these horses and these kids are as much the same as anything I've ever seen in my life, and how we correct them and how we discipline them is the same in a sense. It's a pressure and release no matter what we're doing, whether you're trying to get a girlfriend or you're trying to go buy something or whatever, you're gonna put pressure on that person to try to get what you want, and when they give it to you, you're gonna give them a reward. You're gonna say thanks, or whatever you're gonna do, and for them to understand it, and that's to me, the easiest way for these horses to understand. I mean, you think about these Mustangs that they're doing all these makeovers with and whatnot. Those horses were trained off of pressure and release from the time they hit the ground. Their mama said, move over, and they didn't move over, they moved them over. And it's the same thing. So why do I need to reinvent that process when this horse already understands what pressure is from the time he hits the ground?
Yeah.
So to show that to people and let them understand what all everything is doing when we're putting pressure on, to give them that reward and really show them how we go about getting that stuff, you know, whether it be, you know, we're starting one or we're finishing one on cattle or we're roping on him or whatever it may be. But to just really understand that the more broke my horse is, the easier it's going to be for the most part, you know. Sure, I had horses in the past, when I was a kid, and I had no idea what a trained horse was, you know, as far as a riding horse. They knew a pattern that was back in the box. I could run steers on them and they were great. Other than that, I didn't bother with it. And that's fine. To me at that time, that horse was broke. He was great, he was finished. But that was where I was when I was 14, 15 years old.
Right.
You know, and to understand that that's what I thought was broke, and this person over here may think theirs is broke. But to me, I might think you need to be better. You know, it's just all what you're gonna settle for.
Yeah.
How do you want to settle? Where do you want your horse to be? Do you want it to be fun and enjoyable, or do you want to get out there and get in a fight every day? I'm not going to go fight every day. I'm going to fight about one time, and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not fun for me, I'm not going to be into it.
Well, and that's what it's got to be for them too.
Yeah.
It's got to be fun, but yet they've got to be able to have fun and do the job, and that particular job, whichever you're going to go to. Again, it's like the kids. The basic foundation, us as parents, it's our job to give them a basic foundation. Just like, you know, it's you or your trainer's job to give your horse a basic foundation. And then they can go off and thrive in different disciplines, no matter whether it's trail or roping or cutting or sorting or reining, whatever. But they've all got to have a basic foundation and be broke.
And the reward that some of these horses are going to get are going to be different than you're going to give other ones. The reward for this horse, that for one horse may be to put him to work and give him a job and let him go work cattle. That may be the only thing he wants to do. He may just pin his ears and just want to get in the middle of them and go. And that may be where you work him, and that may be his reward. Well, that reward, you're just getting to learn. You're just getting even more out of it. You know, so your reward for horses is going to be different with every horse, and they're all going to be so much different. Their personalities are going to be different. They're going to be, some are going to be smarter, some are going to be dumber, some are going to be more athletic, some are going to be less. And learning to know what your horse's limitations are going to probably be a big factor in how broke your horse is going to be, or you want him to be. So it's just a lot of things to keep in mind. And with what we're going to do, guys, we're going to do a lot of stuff with something in front of us. We're going to give our horses a job and give them something to do, whether it be working cattle or taking them through a trail. And if I'm going to take my horse down the trail, I'm going with an objective. I don't trail ride for fun.
Right.
I don't. I ride horses all day, every day, and the last thing that I really look forward to doing is going and riding my horse for 2 hours at a walk. You know, when I could go take him on that 2-hour trail and trot him and lope him and work him the whole way and get done in 45 minutes. And then have a whole bunch of stuff that I got done outside. You know, when I leave, there's an objective to what I'm going to try to get done that day.
Right.
And keep that in mind, that it's just not, you know, sure, I'm going to let my horse out. I'm going to let him walk. I'm going to let him, you know, I'm not going to just be constantly on him, you know, making him work and here and there, you know, because he has to have some relief and some reward. And you've got to let him learn to move out and move on their own.
Right.
You know, and like I said, depending on where your horse is or what age he is or where he's at in his training is going to depend on what we're going to do with him when we're out there, you know. And I'm not going to say that I don't. My objective on some days may be just to go walk. You know, it may be what that horse needs at that day.
Yeah.
But that was my objective when I left, and I had a goal in mind that I want him to walk, you know. And tomorrow it may be that I want him to lope, but just depending on where he's at in his training and what I'm trying to do with him is going to make a big difference in what I go outside to do, or when I'm working cattle or roping. I think that the roping industry itself could use a lot of help with, you know, horsemanship and things like that, and understanding, you know, how their horse works and what makes him work better to be a rope horse.
Well, you've got a lot of people in that industry. Roping is just like the hottest equine sport out there in the Western industry right now. So you've got people out wanting to buy finished rope horses. All right. Well, they've still got to have a basic understanding of how to keep that horse right at home.
Yeah. Because what happens is he's finished. I mean, he's where they want him at my house. Well, then they go home and they ride him for 6 months, and they're doing the wrong thing for 6 months. Well, then in 6 months, they go, man, he's not working right. Well, it's because you're not riding him correctly. You know, you're showing him the wrong cue for what you're trying to do, and people don't understand. It's very minimal pressure points, and there's so many factors of where I'm putting my hand, the angle of my hand, the pressure of my hand, where my seat is, where my leg is, and there's a million different spots I can put them. You know, and I got 2 legs and 2 hands, 2 reins, and 4 feet. And to get that where I need to go, I'm going to do 1,000 different things from horse to horse.
Yeah, they are going to be different from horse to
and
horse.
it's understanding and reading and understanding and learning what that horse is going to be better at, and what's the easiest way to get by him. You know, some of the best horses in the world are rope horses, and they understand a pattern. You know, and some of those guys, that's all they want is that pattern. You know, and if they're getting by their horse and they're winning and they're beating everybody and everything good, and it's okay. But then when they get to a spot where they're running into a fight with that horse, and it's going to be a lot harder to fix that problem with that horse not being as broke as he should be.
Sure, sometimes you got to fall back on the basic foundation.
Oh, you bet. Every day I do. And, and it's something to keep in mind that I tell people all the time. What I say, lateral is going to give me vertical, you know, and if I can't get this, I'm going back to this. We're going to get this, and he's going to understand what I'm pressured, and there's my release, you know. He's going to find his relief right here with my rein. I mean, it's not, you see how slack it is, you know. He's hunting that spot so he doesn't hit my hand, you know, and he understands that stuff, and getting him to give me just lateral softness here is going to be, it's my basis to everything I'm doing, in my opinion, you know, because this is the first things we ask them to do is just flex their face, you know, just give it to me from side to side, you know, and if I can't get that like I need it, then I need to go back and do it again.
Yeah, we got to step back into kindergarten for a few minutes, then we'll step back into the 2nd or 3rd grade where we're at today.
Yeah, and like when we're starting colts, and even with our more finished horse, we've got a basic program for what we're doing. It's a step-by-step program, sure. But I may go step 1, 2, 3, and then I get to 4, and it kind of I run into an issue, and I may go to 5, or I may skip to 7. And then come back to 4 after I get that, because I know it'll be easier if I can just go get this, and then that'll come. You know, and understanding that not to get in a fight with them sometimes, and just let things work out on their own. A horse will help you that way, you know, a lot of them. Yeah, and you're gonna know from the first time you get on that horse whether or not that horse is gonna try to help you, or it's gonna be a fight to try to get what you're trying to get. You know, and the horses that are more of a fight are gonna be tired, and they're gonna take longer, and depending on how much patience you have, it's gonna depend on whether or not you're gonna make him or not. You know, and like I said, limitations are one thing, and some horses aren't worth taking the time to bother with. You know, for somebody that's in the business of buying, selling, training, or using a horse, you know, they have a purpose with them. You know, it may not be that any of them, you know, want to worry with it or bother with it, or I'm not going to say waste your time, because that time just may be too long.
Sure.
It may just, you know, in your mind, you may say, it may take a year to fix this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I
don't have a year.
I know in the cutting horse world, an amateur or non-pro can take their horses home, you know, such as myself. I mean, I've only been doing this for about 15 years, but I've sent home problems with horses that I caused back to the trainer to fix, because and it only took me I can run a cutting horse in a week.
You bet.
You know, and where it won't hold a cow, won't do nothing. And might take 6 months to fix what I did in a week.
Yeah. The problems that you can cause don't take long.
No.
But the ways you fix them, a lot of times are going to take a lot longer to fix than they do to make. You know.
Well, on your show, and you're gonna be doing stuff from the ranch. Tell me about the ranch there in Florida.
Well, in Florida we have my dad built a facility back in 2006, and We have about right at 1,000 acres there. I don't have too many cows. I have about 30 head now of roping mama cows, Corrientes, and we have I probably keep 30 head of horses there for the most part, and we work a lot of cows and we rope quite a bit. Crawfordville, Florida. It's just south of Tallahassee there. We're about 4 miles from the coast, and we're about an hour from Georgia.
Well, that puts you, I mean, that's right about the center of the southeast right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good spot for what we want, you know, and Georgia's above us, Alabama's right above us, and it's a really nice facility. It's a really very user-friendly facility for what I wanted and what we could afford. It's great.
Now, and you're gonna be doing some stuff there from the
ranch? I'm definitely gonna do some shows there from the ranch, but we will be out here doing some shows as well. We're gonna go. I'm gonna do a lot like we did on Trey Young, the American Horseman before. We're gonna go and we're gonna show you through this country, America, you know, what we're doing and what different horses are and what these different disciplines are and what it takes to get these horses working in these different disciplines.
Now, you've done some stuff that, you know, and I've heard about, you know, your whip. You've done some stuff with your whip, and that's kind of synonymous with Florida. Tell me a little bit about Florida Cowboys and your whip.
When you want whips and dogs.
Whips and dogs.
You need a dog and you need a whip if you're coming to work cattle there.
Every time I've been down there, about every cowboy I've met's got a whip hanging off of his saddle.
The thing about it is, man, you get out there and you know, you try to pin these cows, and the first thing they're going to go to the biggest head they can find, the thickest brush, the thickest, you know, out here. But there, it's usually that thickest brush, there's a bunch of water in there.
Yeah.
And it's usually a lot of swamp. It's very soft. And the easiest way to get them out is with a dog and a whip, you know. It's the loudest thing I can find besides a gun, you know, with this whip for something to hear me in there, and my dogs to go in there and get after them to get them out.
My horse has never seen a whip. I'm gonna ease out of the way, but
okay.
you've done this with this bay horse you've got.
Yeah.
You can do some stuff with it. So y'all take a look at this.
This little bay horse, guys, he's coming 7 now, and I've had him since he was 4, I guess. I've used him he's a really great heel horse. I've used him for quite a bit of demo work. I call him Jethro. I got him from a lady named Diane Coleman, and she's gonna have a fit when she sees him here. But yeah, this whip and stuff, this is something that we do with these colts the first day that we start them. The reason that I want to lay my horses down right here and show them that it's okay to be here and me be up here. This horse is at his most vulnerable spot he can be in when he's laying down here. He can't fight, he can't flee. He's got to, you know, wait on me and understand that I'm not gonna kill him because there's a fight and flee animal and he can't do either one right now, you know? So for him to be able to trust me enough for me to be able to sit on him, stand on him, and crack this whip means a lot to me that he's going to trust me enough for me to point him at that wall and he might try to run through it for me or whatever it may be. Like I said, like we were talking about a second ago, and being in the swamp or being in Florida, there's some spots you may have to go through that you can't see the other side and he can't see the other side, but he's got to be able to trust you enough for you to point him in that direction and him to go. So to me, this laying a horse down is all about him being my buddy and him trusting me enough to let me do this, because horses aren't very, you know, most horses aren't going to be about it. And how long does it take for us to do it? Well, like I said, it just all depends on what he's going to let us do. So each individual horse is going to vary. I laid a horse down a couple weeks ago that was really, really spooky, and he really needed it, but it took me a lot longer to get him to lay down than it did this horse. And each individual horse is going to vary for sure, but I know that a lot of times when they do let you stand on them, and you can lay them down, and they can trust you enough. When they get up, they know that you're probably going to be their buddy, you know. So that's the biggest thing with us, is letting this horse trust us enough for us to, oh, let me get on this side. For us to, that was good, huh, bud? For us to be able to do whatever it is we want to do with him, whether we're roping or we're riding or we're working a cow.
Well, I think my cutting horse will let me walk a little closer to your whip horse now that you've done that. But that's one of the things you do, some of the demos you've done around the country, you know, and yep, the basic philosophy and the basis for everything you do is having a broke horse. And
your broke horse is going to be trained, but he's going to be able to handle a lot more pressure and a lot more things going on around him. Where your trained horse is not going to be exposed to other stuff, because he's been inside this arena his whole life and he's never got to see the outside world.
Oh yeah, and then a lot of big time show horses are very seldom seen outside of a 12x12 stall.
You bet.
Or on a horse walker, maybe that's about the extent of it.
They're great in the pen, they're great at their job, but it's to, you know, am I going to be able to go outside and use him? I don't know.
You know,
that's the question to be answered.
In our world, Buster Welch, you know, he kind of had that philosophy, was anything that he went and shown over the years, from San Pepe to, or Mr. San Pepe to Pepe San Badger, any of them horses, he could go out and rope and use those horses.
You bet.
They weren't just cutting horses.
And that's what made him a horse.
That's what made him a horse.
That's what made him a horse.
And we've kind of gotten away from that. You know, this horse, he's a 7-year-old now, but he was in cutting horse training for a couple years and wasn't really gonna make it. You know, he was, but he's made me a great using horse. And I don't get him out and go day work with him, but I can go and gather something and bring him up and push him in and out of an alley and open every gate on my place.
And it'll take a lot of pressure off a horse in the arena by getting them outside. You know, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of them in here, that they know they can get out there and there is relief, you know.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple things that I got a few of them that I've got to work today. And they'll kind of start, I'll end up using him, you know, later on, but I've got another one, a 4-year-old that just come home from California. Been in training for 2 years out there, got broke out there. I sent him out as a long yearling, and just wasn't gonna make it as a cutter. For one reason or not, the trainers didn't feel like it was worth going on with that particular horse. So I bring him home, and you know, and over the years, I find some really great homes for horses that have been through a program and are broke to death and ain't gonna hurt you and are ready to go on
and do something else.
But they've got a good foundation. You know, you can move them around with your feet, and you can ask them to do things, and they've generally seen, you know, a lot of attention, a lot of hands-on. So I'm gonna let I've only got a 100-foot round pen here because I'm always by myself for the most part. So it's, I can generally get done what I need to get done, and basically drawing myself a new line every time that I work a different cow. But by yourself, it's hard in 150 or 175 foot.
They get away from you.
Yeah. So,
close contact in here.
Close contact. So, generally, as an amateur and a non-pro, my place is designed for me to get ready to go to a cutting or to get ready to go over to my trainer's place.
Well, it's just like your show. You know, those people are not cutting all week.
No, we don't do it for a living.
They may have a pen like this at home with 15 head of cows, and on Friday afternoon when they get home from work, the only person they're going to work with is by themselves, but they know they're going to go to a cutting tomorrow and they need to get their horse ready in a big pen like you're talking about. There are a lot of times I'm not going to be able to get that work done.
No, you've got to have a lot of help. Having one person in here in a 100-footer is, you know, I can get through 3 horses in, seems like in half the time if I got one person riding him that can
Help you push cattle.
that can help me push. That way I'm not spending so much time
Waiting.
you know, it's,
And the waiting's a good thing.
waiting's a good thing on some of the horses, you know, that I work, and sometimes it seems
Sometimes
like
it gets to be, yeah, you bet.
And if you're always, and I feel like if you're always having to go to a cow to get it going,
And then there's what they're going to face the cow and not want to
I've
hold.
got a horse that thinks, okay, now it's okay for me to walk up on a cow instead of draw back.
Yeah.
So I'm defeating my
The purpose.
So I have to sit and wait, or just quit, back up, go get another cow.
Yes, sir.
Instead of walking on up.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to do what you got to do. So I in my mind, I've got certain things that I want to accomplish and certain things that I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is tell my trainer, man, I've screwed him up. Can you fix him? Because
Sure.
I think I've screwed him up.
Minimal fee.
I'll be beyond my expertise.
So fixing him for sure.
Welcome to You Be the Judge. I'm here in the Cuttin Up studio with my good friend David Brumley. David,
Thanks for having me.
man, we love having you. Thank you for coming in. David is a 3A NCHA judge and has seen it all twice. So we kind of pick out some penalties of what we think there might be a penalty, but we want the judge to commentate on that. So we're going to take a look at a run right here and see what you think about it. And right after these messages, we're going to talk about it.
All right.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV. How would you like to live closer to the Will Rogers Coliseum than anyone in Weatherford, Texas? Thanks to the new Chisholm Trail Parkway, Cleburne to Fort Worth is just 25 minutes. This resort-style saltwater pool area was designed with thoughts and memories of floating the Frio River in Concan, Texas, with the relaxing atmosphere of the finest resorts in Cancun, Mexico. Definitely built for entertaining. The horsemen will appreciate all pipe fencing and turnouts with water and shelter to support a broodmare and foal operation. Lots of outbuildings, working pens, alleys, and traps for working cattle and keeping horses tuned. And a great big round pen with terrific footing for getting them ready to go show. Beautiful 20-acre fertilized Bermuda grass hay meadow that yielded 94 rolls at the first cutting. The main home with metal roof is all Austin stone and cedar trim. 4 bedrooms, lots of custom tile, wood floors throughout, crown molding, heat pump system, the list goes on. The large dining area sits next to a huge kitchen with more cabinets than you can shake a stick at. With a huge office, big yard, beautiful views, and lots of shade trees. For your little piece of Texas, contact Stephanie Cordaway and Keller Williams. Let's talk a little bit about this one.
This man here, his reins are a little long and his horse is a little out of control where he cannot control his horse. And right here, the cow that he wants, his horse turns back too far and he goes back into the herd where he can't keep them separated. And that way he couldn't get him cut, so he switched cattle.
He switched cattle because he started off on the little muley black mott, and that didn't work out, and he ended up cutting a little yellow kind of Erie Brahma kind of cow.
So if he would have done this differently, where he'd had a little shorter rein where he could have held a hold of him, right there you got to get him for 2 hands on the reins, which is another 3-point penalty.
Yes, sir.
And then this right here is just a big wreck, and then you'd have minus for herd work too.
There's the penalty and hopefully a little insight on how to prevent it. David, thank you for coming into the studio and talking with us on this You Be the Judge
I
segment.
appreciate it.
Now let's get back to the action. Okay, now we got a special treat. Trey, tell us a little bit about Wes.
Wes is from Dothan, Alabama. He came to a clinic I had. After the clinic, he left. He had my phone number and whatnot, and I told him to call me if he needed anything. He called me the next week, I guess, and he said, well, I'm out in this field with this mare, and da-da-da-da, what do I do? Well, I said earlier, you know, about learning your horse's limitations. Well, the limitations for that horse, she wasn't going to be what he wanted her to be.
Right.
She just wasn't. She wasn't set up that way. I don't think her brain functioned that way. I don't think she was, you know. So he asked me, I said, he said, what do you do? I said, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd take her to the first person I could find that would just take her and keep her or sell her, give her away, whatever you got to do to not have to feed her anymore, because you're just wasting your money for what you're looking for.
Right.
And he came back, he sold her, and he started coming to the ranch, and it was, you know, he lived two hours away from me, you know, and he was coming a couple days a week, and we were roping one day, and he wanted to try to rope, so we let him rope, and that was kind of what turned him on right there. He bought a horse from me, he bought a head horse from me, and then I rode him for about a year there, and then Wes, we started him on cattle, and we started roping on him, and Wes took him and hauled him for a couple years there, and we just sold him this summer, and he made quite a bit of money on him. And it really turned him on to wanting to do more of it, you know.
Right.
But Wes, I tell you, in 4 or 5 years, rides as good or better than most of the people, than a lot of people that I know, you know. But that's because he's
Consistency.
he stuck with the program
Yeah.
of what we're trying to do, and went home and he worked on it every day. And that's what it's going to take for anybody to get better at anything. You know, you're not going to be able to practice something once a month or once a week and expect to get any better. Sure, you may maintain at the level you're at, but your progression is not going to be there.
Right.
And it just takes, you know, understanding that program. And Wes would call me, and he would come ride with me, and would do everything he could to try to figure out. He'd talk on the phone for hours trying to figure things out for himself, you know. It's got him that wrapped up into wanting to know more, and that's the reason I ride horses every day. You know, I want to understand them more. And to know that I don't know everything there is to know, because you're never going to know it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter. I mean,
You
it's
learn
an endless
every day.
puzzle that's you're never going to find the last piece to. You know, and it's very hard because you can, like I said, Mr. Ed talked. I'm still waiting on this one here to say something to me. You know, so it's just it's very gratifying for me and my program as to what I do to have Wes stay with me, you know, for the last 5 years and ride those horses and his horses and, you know, the young horse that he bought and things like that. And he changed his mind about starting colts after about he got one. That's a funny story. He got this colt. He said he wanted to start a colt. So he got this little mare that he bought him. This has been this has been 2 years ago. And she was real easy. He saddled her, had her going, man. I mean, she was real easy. Well, he got her going, he sold her. Well, he went and got him another one. Well, the next one wasn't quite as easy. So he got bucked off and broke his leg, and he had a little time off there. But it opened his eyes, you know, to want to know more about what's going on with these horses to make yourself better. You know?
Yeah, well, that was a good lesson to teach you that no two of these son of a guns are alike.
No, sir.
That first one, you had a lot of fun, had some success, and it cashed in for you at the end of the deal. The next one, you can go and get, I've seen it, you can go and get full brothers, full siblings to a good one, and the next one be a dink. You know, so it's individuals, and just because they're out of a particular sire and dam, sometimes don't mean a hill of beans.
Yeah, and it's the most gratifying to be able to see somebody like Wes to take my program and see it work. You know, I've never had anybody necessarily. I mean, like I said, I've had people work for me and things like that, and even the people that work for me didn't want it that bad.
Right.
You know, sure, they understood it, and you know, when they followed our program, they understand it, and you know, but for someone to go from 0 to where he's at now
in 5 years.
In 5 years is unbelievable to me. The more athletic you are, the smarter you are, the easier things are going to be for anybody
Sure.
at anything you're doing.
Exactly.
You know, so, but time and dedication, Wes proves that time and dedication will do it for you.
Well, and today is the first time that he's ever ridden a cutting horse. We've got one. She's a 15-year-old mare out of Mr. Dual Pep and California breeding. And she's won quite a bit of money, so she'll take care of you. The one thing that I know about her is when you're going across the pen and you're moving flat with a cow, you have to keep your cow side foot in her. Like, you know, what she'll want to do, especially when she gets to her stop and
Hold
the ends.
that line.
Yeah, she
Hold
knows
your
how
line,
to
Wes.
cheat. Well, it's so much easier if I'm a fortune teller, so I can tell that cow's fixing to turn. And she'll throw up and fall in front of him before he's even stopped. So, you know, you gotta keep that right foot in there if you're going off to the left, and if you're coming back to the right, you got to keep that left foot in there. Other than that, cut you one out and have fun.
You bet.
Wes, go over here, away from the herd. Trot her across there, make her give you a good stop. Go the other way, trot her, make her give you a good stop. And Trey and I'll keep these cows kind of right here, so you just come in here and pluck you one out without having to chase any of them.
Don't get your reins too tight, Wes. Let her be able to get her head out in front of her and let her move through there. You know what I'm saying? Don't bind her up.
She's gonna stretch her head out when she's working, so you can keep a lot of it, and this really isn't a good example with this German martingale, has split reins, but you know, you want to keep your arm extended when you're coming through there and driving through the herd, and you keep until we say put your hand down, just keep your hand up and help her. And just help her as long as you can. We're not in a show situation, so nobody's gonna be marking you for holding on too long or anything, but help her, show her the cow you want. Like I said, these cows have only been here about 10 days. I haven't worked them a lot, so they're still pretty fresh. And if she tries to trot to the herd, you make her walk. You want that judge to see you walk into the herd very slow, calm, and confident. And you're going to give her quite a bit more rein once you do put your hand down.
Let them out. Keep walking. There you go.
One popped out right there. Now just stop her.
There you go.
You want to try to stay eye to eye with that cow. You want her eye.
Turn.
There you go. Make her draw back. Now give her a little both leg. Now stop her. We're going to help her the first few turns anyway. Let her know this is business. Drive, both feet, all the way to the fence. It's all right. Now just
I need a different horse.
drive you another one out and we'll draw a new line. This is a circular pen, so there's not square, so we can draw a new line every time we cut. Now you're just going to drive one in and try to pop it out between me and Trey. There you go.
Oh, you son
That's
of a
all
gun.
right.
You all right? Well,
That's all right. Just drive
keep
up to
staying.
them and they'll
Let one cut
separate
out.
one of them and you just stay with whatever wants to stand. Drive on up there between them. Keep driving. There you go. Now just stay with your cow. Get up both feet. Get across there a little bit, both feet. Now let her come back. There you go. Now draw her back.
Good.
Good. It's one thing that you want to always, when you're doing, everything's back, back, back. Keep your eye on the cow. Right foot, left foot. Right foot, left foot. Drive up to that cow. She's wanting to fade off on you a little bit. There you go. Now stop. Go ahead and
Good.
check her on her stops. Left foot a little bit. There you go. Drive. There you go. Drive up to that cow a little bit. Stop. There you go. Left foot. Get over there.
So that right there, Wes, you got to get between that. You see what I'm saying? Go to that hole. There's your one right there.
There's your one right to your
One
right.
right to your right.
There you go. Checker. Stop. Left foot. Get over here. Both feet. Right foot. There you go. Right foot. There you go. Checker. Left foot. Good. Keep on coming over here. Stop. There you go. Good job. Checker on that stop. Good. Left foot. Good.
Good. That's good. Just stop it.
That's all right.
Good.
Good, good. That's fun, isn't it?
Hi, this is Mike Crumper from Burnett, Texas, and this is Talking a Bit. I'd like to share with you today one of my favorite bottles that I use in the show pen. It's a James Morris. As you can see, it's got an 1 3/4 perch right here. It's got a medium to long shank on it with a lot of curve. I get a lot of feel with this bit. It has a lot of tongue relief. It ties right into the bars. The reason why I like this shank on this right here, it's got a lot of curve right here, so I have a lot of feel when you pull the bridle reins back. You get feel here, so you have a lot of collection. It's got a single curb chain on it. The headstall is a one-piece ear headstall. I've got heavy harness leather double-stitch bridle reins for the weight. This gives me more control, makes me lighter-handed, and over the neck, it proves to be easier on the horse's face when cutting a cow.
The Talking a Bit segment is designed to let you know what trainers consider to be their favorite bit and what their uses are. Be sure and talk with your trainer to see what bit works best for you and your horse.
Well, that was Wes getting to ride a cutting horse for the first time. And since I don't get help in my pen very often, while Trey was there, I went ahead and got him to help me. He turned back for me a little bit while I got to work one of my horses. So let's get back to the action. Now I'm gonna help him along like I have the others in the beginning, and then I'll go to trusting him. Just basically reinforcing the stop. And don't want him over rotating too much.
You bet. Pull your hat down a little tighter this one, eh?
Yeah, I'll cinch it down a little bit more. Like I was telling Wes, I got him right on the cusp of being able to mark a little bit better.
Yeah. You shown him very much or at all?
3 times.
None?
3 times. I've shown him.
Hold him right there, Wes. Yeah.
Now, naturally, you can't do that in the show pen.
Oh, you stupid.
It's all right, and I'll just pick my hand up and help him till we get traffic clear again.
That's a pretty fast little cow there.
Yeah. I think we're gonna switch cows on this round.
You slow down. Yeah. Move out the way, Kim.
No, I'll try to clear my own traffic up
There you
here.
go. Bet. That's good. Just don't let them go behind you, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, he's freaking pretty sticky there.
Yeah, and we're just not gonna, cow's gonna do you dirty every once in a while as long as we don't make a big fuss out of it. It's not anything he's gonna get scolded for.
Well, that one's pretty sour right there. Ah. Nice and easy right there for him.
He just got a lot of draw in him to him naturally. All right, we'll finish up on one more.
You gotta. Push them back over there, Will. Get behind them. Good. Well, you got bias again, boys. You got cattle everywhere. Well, we should have gave you a little more instruction on that for you.
Don't need a runner.
He looks pretty cool, Ken.
Oh, thank you.
Step over and see if we can't hold him in this spot for him. Get out, get out, get out. What you call that horse?
Tuffy. Tough little slick. That's his registered name.
He's 5, you said?
Yeah.
Trying to help you, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
If I ain't helping you. He for sale?
Yeah, but
What'd he cost?
he's probably 40.
He's pretty cool.
For
See a lot of use.
home-raised,
I see a lot of uses for that horse. A
for,
lot of directions to go. You could go with him.
yeah, he's cool. Now you see why I kept him out of that crop.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot about him, you know. He's got a big motor, but he gets high and he gets low,
Yeah.
you know. He really moves his feet. Try.
You know, the biggest deal is, and a lot of times, unless you're a professional guy that rides 30 horses a day, none of them's cookie cutters, you know, and here I am, really basically an amateur.
Trying to.
I've won less than $50,000. So I'm riding my own horses for the most part. Each one of them's got a little different way that you got. Luckily right now, I've only got one show horse, but I got some 3-year-olds coming that, you know, I got to go and spend some time with those guys that are riding those
Get
horses.
some help. Yeah.
And figure out, you know, how they've got them trained. I've done that before. I've had somebody training on one for me for 2 years. They met me at Fort Worth. I got there the day before I showed at the Futurity. Worked in the practice pen one time, walked to the herd. Didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You got to know what you got to know them. You know, that's what it is, you know, and that's just from riding them.
Yep.
But
well, Wes,
that
what
was
do you
good,
think
though.
about riding a cutting horse? And it's been, how long has it been since you rode on a finished one?
it's been a second. It's been 4 years probably.
Well, she's got her wind back if you want to do it again.
No, I'm good. I'm good. She's fun.
I was fixing to send her to Nutrisystems.
Oh, really?
She can go on a weight loss plan.
She needs to be on that Slim Fast diet.
Yeah, I was actually, I was gonna I'm taking some weight off of her anyway, so she'll breed easier.
She's a big old roly-poly right now, but she still understands what to do.
Oh, and just eat up with Cal, and that baby that Roy Stallcups got up in Seymour, Texas, out of her and Smart and Slick is a cool little old mare. Like I was telling Wes earlier, her first time wasn't on a cow, it was on a buffalo. And he
really?
went out there and had a half a dozen buffaloes, 6 or 7, was tracking them around, and that little 2-year-old pinned her ears back and bit one of them.
Really?
You know, so you can have horses too cowy.
Oh yeah, and that's the same as a rope horse too. Sometimes. You know?
Yeah. So Royce, he spends some of his time with her, taking her off the cow. Because
she wants to get in there too.
Her inherent ability she gets from her mother is to just you know, just get in there and.
Those buffalo, they're something else, man. I got some of those one time. I didn't get them, but a guy I worked for got them, and it turned into a wreck real quick.
Well, you know,
I got off my horse and got out. I almost threw him to the wolves. It was getting real rank in there.
Yeah, the buffalo, I've had a few of them around here, and you have to train them.
You
like
bet.
a darn dog.
We were trying.
Yeah.
We got them trained finally, but it
I
took a
couldn't
second.
do it.
It took a while.
Roy Stallcup, Jeff Chase, John Burgess, Randy Chartier. I can name a handful of guys that use them really regularly in their training programs because they're a way to make these cattle last.
Yeah, and they'll outlast a cow.
Yeah, and they'll outlast a cow. And you know, a buffalo, once he's trained and gets to running a particular pattern, that sucker will do the same thing
Over
every
and over.
time.
Really?
You know, Royce or Jeff, either one of them can tell you when you walk into the pen with one, okay, that one's going to go over there and it's going to go hard to the left and lazy to the right, hard to the left, and it's going to go back and forth. Or stay away from that one. It'll do a duty wall on you that your horse cannot recover from.
Yeah.
And then he's got some that are just real slow and lazy. And so there's one for every occasion, but each one of those guys I know of, you know, half a dozen to 10 buffalo, they'll last a year. And we can't get 30 days
out of these cows.
out of these kind of cows. Now, those cattle where you're from, you can get 60 days out of those cattle. You know, if you're rotating them around. And because I've probably put 40,000 head of those kind of cattle on gain lease out in this part of the country over the last 7 years. And the guys that I would call saying, hey, I got a truck coming to pick them up. Oh man, I've still got some fresh ones I need to work through 60 days after they got there. So
those buffalo are in a lot better shape. too. It just seems to me they look like they're in better shape, you know?
Yeah, and the ones that I had around here, I ended up keeping one of them, and I tell you, I put that about a 700-pound heifer. I put her up on corn and sweet feed for 120 days.
Mm-hmm.
Took her and got her packed out. The best ribeyes I
Got you
ever
some
ate in my
steaks.
life. I came outside and started throwing rocks at cows. These was the best ribeyes, and the hamburger meat, everything was just awesome. But we did an episode here. I went and met with Royce and Jeff up in Vernon, Texas, and we just sat there and talked about buffalo and how, because a lot of people don't know how to even acquire them, let alone take care of them
You bet.
or train them. And there's places where, like Kansas has a good sale every December. And a lot of these guys
Go get
work
'em.
them buffalo all year long, take them there and sell them, buy them some fresh ones and do it all over again, and generally make money
Yeah.
because they hold their value.
Yeah.
There's, you know, a yearling buffalo is going for $1,500 right now.
Really?
Yeah,
No
that's
idea.
never been touched.
I didn't have
you
any
know,
idea of that.
And
I would have never thought it.
they're hardy. All you do is worm them,
Yeah.
you know, and feed them. And you don't hot feed them like you do cattle. You just give them some cubes here and there, and give them something to scratch on so they can rub all that wool off in the summertime, or they'll die heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
you know.
That tongue will start hanging out.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, it was great to have you.
I had a
out
great
here.
time, man.
I can't believe, you know, Trey Young and in my pen. This has been.
I look forward to
awesome.
more days of this, man. I do.
Well, you're gonna see a lot more of Trey Young on Farm and Ranch TV, and we look forward to it. Watch for Trey Young, the American Horseman.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you,
Trey.
Ken.
Symbiont helps us reduce, if not eliminate, our worries on EHV1, E. coli, Salmonella, Staph, Listeria, and H1N1. You can't ask for much more than that.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't get to show you me horseback very often, but that was one day when Trey Young showed up and I was working some, and I was just thankful for the turnback help. Want to say a big thank you also to Connie Peters, Roger Peters Livestock Insurers. These people have been taking care of the equine industry for over 35 years and been a great American agent for over 35 years. If that says anything about staying power and integrity in the insurance business, in the equine insurance business. So be sure and go to Roger Peters Livestock, INS.com. Bet you Connie Peters has a plan to help you in your horse program. Thanks again. Hope you see us right here next week. We'll be right here cutting up.
This is not the same. If you can't cut it, then get out the ring. Stay behind the gate if you can't stand the flame. Let someone in there who knows the game. If you can't cut it, move out the way. Let me in there, get out my way.
Be sure and go to Cuttin Up TV's Facebook page and like us.